Hi, this is Alex Rothermel with the part two of the Poppets versus control bore characterization testing. And today we're looking at the old school, but not oldest school, LP Poppet. And just to blaze through really fast on the purpose and the limitations, we're wanting to answer what's the best barrel for a given poppet. In this particular video, it's the LP Poppet. And again, limitations are we're only testing one G6R, this one, and there can be a lot of tolerance differences between standard G6R standard cuts and those dragons, those phoenixes, those Texas storms, ooh, those Falcons, those look really good too. And there's just a lot of tolerance differences in those. And then variation in paintballs. One big thing I want to talk about right now is you cannot compare the results from this video against the last video because the temperatures in my garage and my house are different. If the testing didn't occur the same day, you can't compare them. So you may see, oh, well, the LP Poppet got higher FPS here. Doesn't matter, doesn't compare. It's not same day, it's not statistically significant. So the agenda today is we're going to first answer a question about dwell. This came on the prior video as a YouTube comment. Appreciate that person's comment, and I told him I'd get back to him on it. This is that action item. Share technical details on the LP Poppet and get into the conclusion. So this slide is a little bit of review. We're not going to go big into detail for the control bore lengths and the barrels that we're looking at. Just wanted to point out that we did fix that 2.8 inches control bore for the Nova Reaper Sport barrel. So taking a look at the LP barrel, sorry, the LP Poppet, it is 1.29 overall length and it has the protrusion length or the protrusion spec of a low pressure poppet, and its weight comes in at 4.319 grams, at least on my scale at the time that I took the measurement. So I'm not going to play this video again, but the protocol, just going to blaze through this real fast. 70 degrees, I'm conditioning the paintballs. I verify the pressure before beginning testing, 180 over 83. Shooting between 30 and 40 shots over the chrono. After that, I immediately run back upstairs, leave the gun in my dining room for 5 minutes to recondition at 70 degrees F before attempting the next test. And as I mentioned before, if it's not captured the same day, it can't be compared. It changes over time. No shooting video today. It's just me shooting a trash can. It's not fun.
180 over.
So, taking a look at the question that commenter had about dwell, uh, it does make a difference, but it's not a statistically significant difference for the LP Poppet, and it's certainly not a difference for the Corrado Poppet. This is 4.5 dwell versus 7.0 dwell, average of 277 versus 274. Uh, Stock guidance, Flawless Airworks will tell you that you should run your LP Poppet at 7 dwell. The manual says to run it at 6 dwell. I believe field one says a range of 6.5 to 7. Don't quote me on that. But 7 dwell is generally considered the higher end for stock of what you would want to do for dwell. And this is the lower end of the recommendation by method using the method poppet. You can see here, not a whole lot of difference. We're getting a few more on the high end for the 7.0 dwell, but again, this p-value is above 0.05. It is not statistically significant. This could be random chance. So I wanted to take a second to explain what dwell does on a G6R, right? So here's the solenoid. There's a hose right here. It sends an air charge here. What dwell controls is how long this solenoid is open and putting a charge of air here to send the ram forward. I can tell you from prior testing that using a sci-fi board and its eye vision feature that you can add dwell and add dwell to a sci-fi board, and it will not change the eye view until you exceed 12.5 dwell milliseconds. Now, what that means is it takes about 12 milliseconds with standard pressures for this RAM to go to the full forward stroke. I can detail that more in a later video, but essentially, you're not going to get a huge difference adding dwell points because now this part is conjecture. This is what I think. I think what the solenoid does is it takes this air channel right here and it transfers it here. And that's all it does. So if this entire air channel equalizes to here within 5 milliseconds, you're not going to get anything extra for force pushing the rammer down. The exception to that is if you have a particularly sticky rammer and it takes longer for this to move and equalize on pressure. That last part, like I said, I think this is the LPR dump chamber that feeds the rammer. I don't think you're getting constant air from the LPR during the shot of the 5 or the 7 or the 10 dwell milliseconds. Definitely would like more information on that from someone who knows more. So looking at the raw data for the LP Poppet at 7 dwell, looking at all the barrels, I got some weird fat balls or the uh, poppets sticking open or something was happening. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this chart, but I am going to tell you that everything above 300 got trimmed off of this next slide. So I removed all data points that were above 300, and we can see here that the performance was a little different compared to the Corrado Poppet. The Nova barrel, the Freak barrel, and the Bob Long barrel all performed about the same, whereas the LP on the ULS 7-inch control bore performed the best. I wanted to see more of a curve here, and you can maybe see a little bit of a curve with this 263 versus 261, and then it comes back down to 261 again for the Nano. But confluence of factors or something made it to where the LP Poppet really preferred the ULS barrel with its 7 inches of control bore. This is 5.8 inches of control bore. This is 5 inches of control bore. This is 2.8 inches of control bore. And then finally, a reminder, PWR inserts are 8.5 inches of control bore. So you may be thinking, Alex, well, maybe you should retest this. Maybe this is a fluke. Maybe something happened there. Well, if you remember back to that 4.5 dwell characterization of the ULS barrel, it also performed a little bit better. So it really seems that at least with the poppet seal or the nylon or the Delrin or whatever, with at least my LP poppet and with my Delrin seal and with my paint that day, it liked the ULS barrel. So the conclusion at this time is if you are using the old school LP Poppet, you should get you a 7.0 control bore barrel, and the most popular version of that is the Dye ULS. And here is mine. Thank you very much. Please comment, give questions. I'll do my best to address them.